Today we learn the next topic, which is our receivables management. What do you mean by receivables management? Let's break the word into two. What is receivables? Receivables are nothing but our debtors, people from whom we are going to receive money. Management, as we have learned, is art. So here in this sense it becomes art of collection. Now, why is it so important to learn this art? Because a company needs to accelerate its receipts. It needs the money to come back faster. It wants money to be blocked in debtors or with the debtors for a very short time, but at the same time it does not want its sales output to get affected by whatever credit policy it sketches. So in order to learn management of the debtors in better, we will have to learn the aspects of management of debtors. The very first aspect which is a part of your debtors, is your credit policy. Now, what is a credit policy? A credit policy is the time limit given to your customers for repayment. Now, how is this credit period actually noted? There is a particular way of noting a credit period. A credit period is noted as net 30. If your credit period says net 30, it means that all the obligations, all your credit obligations are paid by or paid in 30 days. So whenever you see a credit policy of any supplier which says net 30, it means that all your credit obligations need to be paid in 30 days, else there will be some interest charge or there will be some other charge which they will have to pay. Similarly, addition to this type of a credit policy is, say, 3/15 net 30. What does this mean? Here 3 means that a 3% cash discount is received if the payment is made within 15 days and the balance payment has to be cleared within 30 days. Now that we know a credit policy and how it is mentioned, let's understand what exactly is a credit policy. Yes, credit policy is the credit limit given to the period to your customers, or the period allowed to your customers to make the payment. So it is a trade-off between your profits. Now suppose if a customer goes ahead and a client, suppose if you have another trade policy or credit policy, you want to increase your credit policy from say net 30 to net 50. What exactly does this mean and how is it an aspect of management? Because a credit policy is nothing but a trade-off between profits on the additional sales, because now since you're giving more credit period, there will be more customers that will come to you. At the same time, your profits will increase because there are additional sales, and this may arise due to the extension in the period that you have given. Whereas on the other hand, now because your sales have gone up, your bad debts or your risk with your bad debts or risk with your customers has increased. You could have more bad debts now. So your credit policy is nothing but a trade-off between these two being your profit on additional sales which may arise due to extension of profit, and on the other hand the risk that it carries of bad debts. So a credit policy should be such that your credit should be more and your additional sales should be so high or should be this much that your bad debts risk is covered. The next part or the next aspect of the management of debtors is credit analysis. A credit analysis is determination of how risky is it to give advance to a particular party. So can I say this is determining a credibility a credibility of a particular party being your customer. So you need to analyze your credits before you directly give them. You need to know how well stable is the party who you are giving the credit and everything, so that you minimize your risk of bad debts. Not that you just go on giving them stuff on credit and they don't end up paying you back. So this is also an aspect which needs to be paid attention to, like what is the credibility of all your customers or all the parties. The third and the last aspect is control of receivables. This means that if the credit policies increase, the person may need to hire somebody to control this. What do you mean by control? A control of receivables means that if you have a credit policy of say net 30, so you need some follow-ups after 20 days or 15 days, or you need some reminders to be given. All this is nothing but a part and parcel of the control of the manager. So a finance manager requires to do follow-up with the debtors or give reminders at a suitable credit policy. So this all are your controls of receivables, and if the credit policy is increased or is being considered to be increased, these all have to be paid attention on, and this is also a very important aspect of management of debtors. Now that we know our aspects of management of debtors, let us try and learn why is it so important to manage them. What is the cost that the receivables have? So our next part is cost involved in our debtors. Now firstly, what happens when you have debtors? There are two costs which a company bears. One being that the funds are blocked, there is no funds for rolling. So a company will require more funds, because now that it has improved or it has increased its credit period, so the company will require more funds for its working, and this will lead to a cost in interest, form, because now the cost in the interest form would be nothing but your opportunity cost, because now the funds are blocked. The company could have used these funds and made some bigger money for some time, but now all of that is not happening. So a company, the first thing that happens, or the first cost involved, is the funds which are blocked in it, and the cost involved with such funds is your opportunity cost of the company, which it would have used this money and made something better out of it. The another cost is the administration cost. As we discussed, that there needs to be reminders and everything. Other than the reminders, there needs to be record keeping. There needs to be investigation about the credibility. You need some background checks to be done on your customers, or do you want to investigate their credit worth, etc. Then there could be some collection costs. Like you may have to hire some agents who would go ahead, and the bigger cost is your defaulting cost, and all the above costs are incurred so that the defaulting cost is the least. These are all nothing but your administrative cost. So the cost involved in your debtors are of two nature. One, your funds which are blocked, the cost which the funds carry. The cost which the funds carry is nothing but the cost in the interest form or opportunity cost. Secondly, it's the administration cost. The administration cost is a cost which a company bears to increase its record keeping skills, its investigation, its credibility finding, collection cost, and also your defaulting cost. So now that we know all of this, what are the factors under the control of a finance manager? Now there will be some factors which a finance manager cannot control, and it is going to lead to some bad debts or some problem. But what are the costs which he can control? The very first is supervising the administration of credit. What do you mean by supervising administration of credit? He can supervise who are the customers whom the credit has been given, and he could sketch a policy which could be in such a way which is based on his customers or the kind of a category of the customers which he has. The second factor which is under his control is to contribute to top management decisions relating to the best credit policy What do we understand by this? Now, when the upper management is actually putting in an effort to set a new policy or to revise its credit policy, a finance manager can actively participate in that and give his opinions and see to it that all the decisions regarding the policy are such that he can give a feedback about what kind of a customer it has or what kind of a clientele are they serving to, and what is the capacity. Would there be any change in the sales, or would there actually be more bad debts and it's a bad idea to go for such a revision? So he could go ahead and give a lot of inputs. The other thing which he can help is deciding the criteria for selection of credit applicants. Now, what do you mean by this? He could have like a questionnaire kind of a thing, or certain questions which they make the clientele which they make a customer follow or fill, and then accordingly based on the criteria that they have set as a benchmarks, after that only they will be selected to what credit is going to be applied to them or what credit period is going to be served to them. And the last factor which he can have under his control is speed up the conversion of receivables. What do you mean by conversion of receivables? At the end, these receivables have to get converted into cash. So the conversion has to happen to cash, and his entire effort should be to speed up this conversion of receivables into cash. So his collection policies and everything need to be very aggressive. In short, if you summarize all of this, what is his duty? His duty is he has to strike a balance between cost of increased investments, like we just discussed. With the increase in receivables, there is a cost with the increase in the investments. So he has to strike a balance between cost of increased investments and profits from the higher levels of sales. That I know what are the aspects involved in my debtors management and what I need to pay attention on, and why is it so important and everything. My next task comes, how do I evaluate the benefit? We just learned that he needs to strike a balance, but before striking a balance, he needs to estimate such a balance. So how will he evaluate such happening, and how will he come to know whether the change in the credit policy is leading to any advantage or no? Now, this evaluation can happen in two ways. There are two methods. Let's discuss first method, which is a total approach. Your total approach deals with find the expected profit under each of the policy. Say you have proposed policy A, your proposed policy A and proposed policy B, and this is your present policy. So you will find your expected profit under your current policy, under your policy A, under your policy B, Now, how do you get your expected profit? Sometimes you may have to work your way up to get this, like say your credit sales in each of the policy over the total cost for such sales. Now, total cost for such sales, this total cost other than bad debts, because bad debts is very important, we'll deal with bad debts later. So your total cost other than bad debts and cash discount, because these two are the prime reasons. Like cash discount is one of the reasons how you can lure them, or this is one of the way you can lure them. So your total cost other than this can be your variable cost and your fixed cost. Suppose if there is a change in your fixed cost, after you get this, these are nothing but your expected profits or expected increases. Oh, against this you have your bad debts. Bad debts may be different for every level, it could be more or less. After bad debts you get your expected net profit before taxation. After this you less your taxation, tax rates, and you're left with PAT. This is your expected profit after tax. This all that you have done is all your expected profit. This could be your part A. Say your answer, this is your sub part A. Against this you have incurred certain cost. What are the costs that you are going to incur against this? Like we discussed before, my costs are nothing but opportunity cost of investment, so your opportunity cost will be subtracted from the benefit being your B, and you will get your net benefit against the benefit which we just calculated. A company has incurred opportunity cost of investment in the receivables. Like we just discussed before, the opportunity cost would be there because the funds are getting blocked over here, so that would be your B cost. And after this you can get your net benefit by A minus B, this being your sub B part. So he gets the evaluation of present policy benefit and how much is the policy by A and how much is in policy B, and he picks the one which is the best. Now what do we see over here? Why is it called as a total approach policy? Like the name says, we have gone ahead and found the total benefit under each of the policy or each of the approach, or because of this approach we have gone ahead and found the net benefit, total net benefit in each of the policy. So now let's learn what is the method 2. The method 2 is incremental approach. What is incremental approach? Incremental approach will not calculate, I repeat, it will not calculate your total benefit. It will calculate your incremental benefit of each proposed policy to your present policy. So he will evaluate just the difference between policy A and policy. He will not calculate the difference between policy A and policy B. This is wrong. He will calculate difference between present policy and policy B and present policy and policy A. this is right, and this is how he will get his incremental benefit, and he will pick a policy whose incremental benefit, which means whose benefit from the current policy is higher. So the one with a higher incremental benefit will be selected. So these are the two methods of evaluation. Evaluation of your debtors will happen in the two methods. One will be a total, wherein you will calculate your policy, you will calculate your net benefit, or you will calculate your total benefit. Under this approach, you will calculate your total benefit, total cost minus your other. You will calculate your total benefit and you will subtract the other over cost which you have calculated, and you will get your net benefit. Whereas in the incremental approach, you will go ahead and you will just find how much is the incremental benefit from your present policy to your proposed policy, and you will get your incremental benefit, and you will pick a policy whose incremental benefit is most. Thank you.